日本時間3月26日、ドジャースのタイラー・グラスノー投手が、米ポッドキャスト番組、オール・ザ・スモークに出演しました。番組内で、グラスノー投手は、昨年のワールドシリーズで MVP を獲得した同僚の山本由伸投手のトレーニングについて、そして日本選手からメジャーの投手が学べることを語りました。また、大谷翔平選手について聞かれたグラスノー投手は、翔平はめちゃくちゃ礼儀正しいんだ。普段はスマホとかほとんど見ないし、生活がとても規則正しい感じで、ほんとすごいよ。と、大谷選手の普段の素顔やアスリートとしての凄さなどにも触れ、スタジオが盛り上がる場面がありました。ここからは、その様子を字幕付きでご紹介します。
Miggy had an amazing pick here and then an amazing play in game 7.
Yep.
The fact that y'all go to game 7 after this and you're back on the mound again in game 7 and got to give them a couple innings.
Yeah.
What was the thought process of y'all were down that game too?
Yeah.
Like it looked like, honestly, Toronto looked like they were playing a better brand of baseball than y'all were.
Yeah.
All the way up until that mistake there by Barger and a couple base running mixed cues in game 7.
Yeah, I think it was just a little mistakes that it came down to. Like, I think every momentum shifting opportunity, we took advantage of it and made the plays. And I think there was just a couple little things that if they were done differently, I think the result probably would have been a little different. I'd never gone back to back, but I think like with the adrenaline of the World Series, like you don't feel anything.
And Yamamoto just went out there and did it.
So it's like, what am I? Yeah,
how can a pitcher be like, no,
nothing? Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
so
Dave, I'm not good. I know Yamamoto's good, but
yeah, like I'm not feeling great today. But I felt great, and I think a lot of people too. If you talk to a lot of pitchers, like if you have a heavy workload, the next day your body's still very much like loose and normal, and then the next day
when you're
sore. So like the back to back, I'm like, all right, this is fine. It's more about like the 2 days after when everything starts to tighten up again. So I felt totally normal.
Do you feel the aura of just greatness of your guys' pitching staff? I mean, your guys' rotations is incredible. I mean, do you kind of just feel that and have that confidence as a staff?
I think so, for sure. I think we dealt with some like untimely injuries and stuff, but I think once we got together as a whole later in the season, we were like, as far as like most of the starting staff rotation stats go, we were leading all of them. And I think once we got on that roll, and I think just signing dudes and like knowing on the team, like you sit down and you think about who we've assembled, it's like there's a lot of confidence there for sure. And like you feed off one another and it's been great.
Yamamoto got you on his workout plan yet?
Not yet. I actually I've messed around and he's got this dude Yada Sensei and they do the craziest things in the weight room.
They showed it. I forgot.
Wild.
When did they show it? Leading into the playoffs or in the playoffs?
he's throwing like javelins out there.
He does it
Just
all, man.
the shit.
It's
It's
crazy.
all this and look, the big, but like, you guys kind of sitting back and watch like, oh, it worked. Like, have you?
I think so. I worked with him a little bit with like the mobility stuff and everything. And like, I do some of that stuff, but not obviously as in depth as he does. But it makes you wonder, and it makes people, like if I'm a kid right now and I'm watching the game, it's like, all right, there's so much like heavy lifting involved. And I think that's a huge thing for, especially if you're a small kid and you need to gain mass. Like if you look at any successful pitcher or like the spreadsheets of who succeeds in the big leagues as a pitcher, it's like you're generally like 6 foot or above, and if you're not, you weigh 200 pounds and above. So it's a very heavy emphasis on like weightlifting and like moving weights quickly and all that stuff. But then you look at a guy like Yamamoto, and he's not in any of those categories. He throws 100, and he's just doing like, it's just this calisthenic holds strong. And you look at him, he doesn't look strong or yoked or anything, but his like tissue is just incredibly strong, and it makes you wonder like if you can somehow blend these two and find what you need.
What kind of part? Oof.
I think that's a great point you make, because I think about, I mean, I played with Ichiro, I played with Japanese, I played with Metsu, I played with Japanese players, and now you have a staff that's had Yamamoto, Otani, and then you have Snell, yourself, you had Kershaw last year. Like all of you guys, although like you and Otani may have some similarities, y'all are very different to me. As a hitter, if I were facing y'all, I'm going in with completely different plans.
Yeah.
How much are y'all able to bounce things off of each other? Or is it we just brought all these great guys to one place that already know exactly how they want to go through their process, and is not as much of that going on?
I think for the most part, I bounce ideas off of a lot of, I think the most like constructive time within baseball is like the dugout. Whenever you get like any sort of off time, or if I'm like thinking I'm sitting there, I'm not playing, and I see Snell or whoever's sitting there and I have a question, you kind of talk during the game, especially Kershaw. I would talk to him a lot about certain stuff. But you do realize the more questions you ask people, like how unique everyone is. And I realized too, if you came up in an organization through the minor leagues with someone, you're a lot more similar to that batch of people than you are when you come from, because if I came over in year 6 and you've done so many different coaches and you learn this, you messed up this way, so you readjust this way. And like, you've got this whole different trajectory of who you, or how you've become the athlete you've become. And so when you compare and contrast with other people, you go, okay, does this work for you? Like, this thing works for me. Does it work for you? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's just such a whole different like ecosystem of things that you've learned. But you can find similarities in things, or if something really does feel off, you can be like, what do you do here? And you can get ideas. But for the most part, it's really insane how different everyone is, because you overlay people's mechanics, and like, it's not one person throws the same.
What are some of the tricks of the trade that you feel like American pitchers could take from Japanese pitchers and vice versa?
Culturally as a whole, I think it even like transcends baseball in a sense of like, it's not all about like brute force and like just go like harder. Because like that Western culture, I guess, or whatever it is, like growing up for me, it was always like more is more all the time. Like you're sore, work out more. It's like you feel, it's like
I
just
still
more.
live by that.
I know, it's what I'm saying. It's like, it's kind of that thing that I've always leaned on, to where like, if I'm struggling with anything, it's like, well, just go run 5 miles and like just sweat it out and get an endorphin rush and like do more and more. And then you get older and you realize like, that's just not the way to go. And like, it's like the recovery aspect, you can still have that, but I think it takes just as much like mental fortitude to be like, I want to go do this right now and like move this weight, but it's probably, it's easier for me to go do that than it is for me to sit here and just stew in whatever it is I'm trying to deal with.
Right.
And I think the Japanese side is almost the opposite of that, where it's all very like, even if I see like manual therapy stuff in the weight room or in the training room, it's like they're getting worked on like every day for a couple hours. Like their tissue is soft. They're like, it's like Play-Doh, but it's strong under the Play-Doh. And like, when I'm not feeling good, you can like physically feel how stiff certain parts are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they've just been they're just like Wagyu beef. Everything is just so
And there was a time
soft.
it was frowned upon if we were doing that.
Exactly.
really?
Yeah.
So like if I were the
exactly.
young player and I went in,
Oh, you weren't
and
allowed. You
am
weren't
I
allowed
on
to
the
get on the
training
table.
table for 2
Oh,
hours,
Yeah,
guys?
you can't
that
get on
died
it.
so hard, and it's still on some places. Like if you're in there for 10 minutes, like get out of here, rookie.
Yeah.
Like you're 22. What do you need to be in here
Yeah.
for? Type of mentality, and they do that mixed with like the calisthenic hold, so they're getting both best of both worlds. But they just move so fluidly. You compare the like mechanics of people in Japan, or like, and then people of the US, it's like that collect the flow up here and then they relax and they go down. And like so much of the new age weighted ball American stuff, it looks painful. Like it's not right or wrong. It's just
Right.
like, there's got to be like a fine line, like a middle ground.
Obviously, huge Japanese presence on your guys' side. I came up in locker rooms where no way was off limits. Like, do you guys have fun? Talk shit to them? If you do, how do they react? How do they take it? Like, what is that interaction like when it's not the game?
Just like the banter in between.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Oh, it's just all the same. Nothing's off limits. That's
Okay.
what I feel like too, as a baseball player, as an athlete, like we're very fortunate to have that. My whole life has just been that. Like there's no, you can do this, you can't do that. There's no like HR type of thing. So you develop like a good sense of humor and tough skin.
Got
and
to.
like
and learn how to talk shit yourself.
Exactly. And like,
Or fight.
It's
One of the
important
two.
to
Or
learn,
both.
you know, exactly. Like it's a good, you
Yeah.
can't just be like, well, I'm going to tell on you.
Yeah.
And then now this isn't going to be a thing. It's like, you kind of have to learn
Yeah.
how to become
That's
like a
the thing,
human
when you
being.
don't know the language, all you do is
Yeah.
learn the curse words
Yeah.
first.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But
And
they
you
can-
build from there.
yeah, they're great. Like they got tough. Like everyone talks shit to everybody, and it's like, you know, it's out of love. You're not like
Yeah,
trying to be
right.
mean. So no one cares. Everyone's like talking shit, especially Kike in the clubhouse. Like he's talking shit to everybody. So it's
I
perfect.
love it. Keeps it loose. What's the Otani experience been like? I mean, arguably the most famous athlete on the planet.
Yeah.
What's that like? Just a day-to-day traveling with that and seeing it.
He's a man. He's kind of a unicorn in the sense of obviously like his physical talents and stuff, but his like the mental fortitude part is pretty insane. Like I think for the most part, when you're around, you know this, when you're around dudes for 7 months a year, like how up and down people can be. And there's all different flavors of up and down, but everyone has like good and bad days. Some people are a lot more volatile than others, but some people hide it. But no doubt you can tell. But with him, it helps when he hits like 400 and a million home runs every year, but he's had some tough times and bad starts and things have gone on, and he's the same
Even keel.
dude all the time. And he does the same thing on the flight. He's always smiley, happy. He has to do like all the extra media compared to what we do. After the game, he's got like 500 people sitting there talking to him. He's always smiling. He's always respectful. And he's just like, it's crazy. Like he sits on the flights no matter how long they are, and he reads comic books. It's crazy. Like he doesn't look at like electronic screen. He does like, it's like perfect. It's crazy. He just reads comic books and sleeps like so much. I'll ask him how many hours of sleep he gets. He's like 11 hours, like no problem.
That's part of the culture.
I guess I want to learn. It's crazy.
I remember being teammates with him. I played with him with the Angels when he was a rookie.
Oh yeah.
And seeing his ability to make adjustments, never get down on himself. Like is this inner confidence of knowing everything is going to work out. Like things that you would tell your boy, like, you're going to be fine. You know, it's like he knows that.
Yeah.
And he decides early in the season, all right, who am I going to be this year? If he has Tommy John and he know he won't be able to pitch, all right, I'm going to be a slugger,
steal a bunch of bases,
a stolen base guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, this year I'm going to pitch. All right, I'll take it back on the stolen bases. I'll, be able to mix and match, do this. But to see somebody have to balance out the workload of locking in and all the work that goes into it being a starting pitcher and flip it on as soon as he gets through the inning, he has to turn it on and go to the bat rack, get his helmet, get his bat, and be locked in for one of the nastiest pitchers in the game because everybody's discussing these days.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel like he's able to manage the mental workload that comes with it and have some level of personal life? Or do you just not have a personal life?
I don't know. You have to ask him. I'm not sure what his personal. I mean, he's married as a kid. Like he loves his dog, and his dog is well trained. So clearly, there's some time spent there. So like, but I don't know.
Making bread too.
I think it's sleeping comic books. I don't know. Like I don't know what else he's doing, but he just seems. I don't know. I don't know like what he does all the time at home, but he's always chilling on the road and just hanging out. And I'm not quite sure everything, but I think for the two most obvious things are like the sleep. I think.
Yeah, he a unicorn.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。